नहमदु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बना ज़िदना इल्मा अल्लाहुम्मा फ़क़्हिना फ़िद्दीन अल्लाहुम्मा इन्नी अस्अलुका इल्मन नाफ़िअ व अमलन मुतक़ब्बला व रिज़्क़न तय्यबा Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma. Today inshallah we will be studying from ayat number 234 onwards, and the topic under discussion is the widows, the women who lose their husband, and the time of iddah or the waiting time for those women, and when they can get married, or how the proposal to be sent to them. So overall, what is going to be covered in ayat 234 and 235 is that the waiting period for the women whose husband has died will be 4 months and 10 days. Firstly, because it is a command of Allah, so we don't need a scientific explanation. But still, there was some study done, and it was found that a woman who is attached, they were close to each other, it takes the woman around 125 days to get out of that sadness. So if we want to see scientific reason why it is not 3 months like the divorce, why is it 4 months and 10 days, that is one of the reason that could be explained. But again, as I already mentioned, this is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it has to be that way. Secondly, to give you a glimpse of what was happening in Makkah in the ignorant times, was that whenever a wife would lose her husband, she was sent to a separate home, separate place, where she was not allowed to come out of that place for 1 year. Sometimes they would shave her hair, sometimes they would just she would not be allowed to take a shower for 1 year, not allowed to change, just use bathroom and eat the basic food. So the purpose was that she becomes so unattractive and not to be seen by people, and she does not even think about other men, and other men don't think about her. It was established that if the husband died first, that means this woman must be a really bad woman to have to be around with. So Islam, alhamdulillah, Islam came to abolish these things. Islam gave different timeline for waiting period, and Islam did not allow the women be sent to some other house, some other place. The women should not be allowed to go out as needed. It does mention that the waiting period is 4 months and 10 days, so the women should not wear makeup and wear perfume and stuff like that. She should not go to work or studies or job or anything unless it is extremely needed, in which case she is allowed to. But the husband's family is told to support, the society is told to support her in this time. Of course, if there is no family, there's no like parents from the husband's side, and then her own family, her own brothers should support her. Otherwise, whoever can, we are all supposed to support the widows or divorcees in such times when they are in their waiting periods. If none of these supports are available, then she's allowed to go in work outside. Other things are that, just like in Hinduism, the widows are supposed to wear only white, and as I already mentioned, some of the regional culture is that they shave the widow's head, so she does not stay attractive, or it's kind of a punishment or something for the women. In olden times, even the Hindus used to burn the widow alive while they would incarnate the body of the deceased husband. So Islam, alhamdulillah, does not have all this, although the difference according to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that for anyone, whenever somebody dies, the mourning period is 3 days, and except for a widow, when she loses her husband, the mourning period for her would be 4 months and 10 days, meaning she should not be attending things which are not necessary, and she should not be interacting. Basically, a Muslim woman is not supposed to interact as such with the men, but while during the iddah or the waiting period, she is supposed to stay inside the house as much as possible. I will fill in the gaps as we read the other the ayat, these two ayat, and I'll see if there is anything else that needs to be told. Wallazina, and those who yutawaffawna. Wafi is the root wafaya, which means to complete. Yutawaffawna, the word faut also is a derived word from wafi, which means death. So something is completed, like the life is completed when that happens. So faut or yutawaffawna, when they pass away, minkum, among you. Wa and yazaruna. Wow, zal ra is the root, which means to leave behind. Wa and yazaruna, when they leave behind. Azwajan, the wives. Zai wow, jim is the root. And when they leave behind wives, yatarabbasna. Ya means they, meaning the widows. Tarabbasna, raba swad is the root, which means the wait. They should wait, the waiting time. Be with anfusihinna, with their nafs, with themselves. Noon fasin. How much is the waiting time? Arba'ata, 4 ashhur, months. Wa and ashra, 10 and 10 days. So 4 months and 10 days they should wait with themselves. What is the meaning of bi anfusihina? With themselves. So one meaning is the same, that with their body, meaning they should not get married to anyone else. So if there is pregnancy, it is father is known. Secondly, with themselves, with their nafs, meaning they have to wait to wear makeup or perfume or jewelry, to be able to resume their job or education or anything else unless it is needed. Fa'iza, then when, balagna. Balag means to reach. When they reach, ajalahunna. Ajal means the time, hamza jim lam. So their specified term when they reach. Fala, then there is no junaha, blame, alaykum, upon you. So over here Allah mentions upon you. I will tell you why. Allah does not say upon them. So there is no blame upon you. Fi, in ma, what? Fa'alna. Fa'ilna, meaning the act they do. Fi, in anfusihinna, with themselves, with their nafs. Bil ma'ruf, in a fair manner. So why is Allah telling the people that there is no blame upon you if they do something with their nafs? Meaning that now she's allowed to, after the waiting period is over, she's allowed to either get married, or she wants to resume her education, or she wants to work, or whatever she wants to do. She should be allowed, and the people are the ones who are usually the ones who judge and who are blaming her for not waiting longer, for being so. People say different kinds of things, and they gossip that, oh, she must be really interested in somebody else, that's why she's just started to wear makeup. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clarifying, so people do not gossip about her, people do not blame her, people do not make theories that she's so much in a hurry to start wearing these kind of colorful and dresses and jewelry. And look at her, it's been like just some months that her husband has passed away, and look at her, she's so ready to sit in her car and drive to the office. And look at her, she looks so happy, and she was attending another wedding yesterday, I saw her there, and she was in the parent teacher meeting, and she was laughing with the teachers and talking. So this is the kind of environment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, that's why Allah is talking to the other people, that there is no blame upon you for what they do, the women, concerning themselves. Bil maruf, as long as it is in a maruf way. As long as, what is maruf? Meaning if she's doing in the appropriate way, in appropriate Muslim appropriate way, as long as she's not doing something that is really inappropriate, not like wearing hijab, or even in that case we're not supposed to talk about others, but it shows that the women the widow is supposed to do whatever she is doing in a Muslim appropriate way, just like any other woman is expected to do. So after 4 months and 10 days, she's okay to act like just like any other normal Muslim woman in the society. Okay, that's what bil ma'ruf means. There is no extra restriction on her. The only restriction is whatever way a Muslim woman should look like in her covering, in her interacting with the male, in her going to work, or in her studies, or in her dealing with her children, dealing with everyone else. Also, she is allowed to leave her in-laws' house if she wants to. If she had wanted to stay in the in-laws' house, in the same house where her husband died, then the in-laws are told to take care of her, to respect her opinion of wanting to stay for months and 10 days and for the iddah duration in their house. If she does decide to stay there, then her wish should be honored, unless there are really justifiable reasons that they cannot take care of her. Wallahu, and Allah, bima, of what, ta'amaluna, amal, that you do, and mim lam, whatever that you do, khabir, he is all aware. He has the khabar, he has the information of everything that you do. So we might think that we're talking about her and what we're doing is the right thing. Allah is kind of, it's like a threat that Allah knows whatever you're doing. Whatever she is doing, she is allowed to do after 4 months and 10 days. But what you're doing, Allah is watching you. Allah knows what you're doing. One more thing that was part of the Arabian culture before the Islam spread was that people, when they would die, the men, when they would die, and they would have multiple women, multiple wives, and would have sons from those wives, then the sons would distribute those stepmothers just like any other property of inheritance. That was a really bad culture, and it was very widely accepted. But even the widows, they would just they would be mentally prepared that this would happen. It would be in the regions where this culture was usually accepted. So Islam completely ended that, and in fact Islam gave the rules in such a way that the people, even those who were from the family or outside of the family, if people would be interested in those widows because of their piety or because of their beauty or because of their property, for whatever reason, they were told not to force any kind of, not to put a pressure on the woman to get engaged, especially during their waiting period. They were allowed to drop the proposals in a very subtle way, or through their families, through their mothers, through their sisters, but they were not allowed to pressurize, or they were not allowed to even the engagement, proper formal engagement or any kind of promises are not allowed during the waiting period. The waiting period is supposed to be for the woman to take complete time, focus on herself, to grieve properly, to plan for her future, to plan what she wants to do. If she has any kids, does she want to get married, does she want to resume her studies, does she need to work, does she want to work, all those questions. This is the waiting period for her to completely focus on her. There should be no pressure upon her, no formal engagements, no promises, nothing, as you can see from the next ayat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the woman complete liberty to choose what she wants for herself. And as we can see, let's read the next ayat. Then ayat number 235, wala, and no, and there is no, junaha, blame, alaykum, upon you, fi, in, ma, what, arradtum, ein, ra, dad, meaning hint, in which you hint, bihi, with it. So with what? Min, of, khitbati, marriage proposal, an-nisa'i, for the women, to the women. So this ayat talks about how the marriage proposal should be sent if you're interested in the widow while she's in the iddat period. After the iddat period, outside the waiting period of 4 months and 10 days, she will be treated like any other Muslim woman. How to send the proposal? It could be sent the way it is, the proposal is sent to any other Muslim woman. But while she is in the waiting period, and if somebody thinks that, oh, she's a really pious person and she's very nice and she would be really nice for my son or for my brother, then how to send that? It should not be sent openly. It should not be sent like a proposal. It should not be sent in a way that they have to promise, the family has to, or the widow has to promise that she's now engaged to their son or their brother. It should be just, the hint should be dropped, so she can keep in mind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to send the hint for the proposal that we are also interested, or I'm also interested, in a maruf, in a fair, proper, appropriate way. Okay, because sometimes you have to see from the other party's point of view that they might think that, we don't want to be too late, so they're allowed to send the hint. So over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, let's start 235 again. Wala junaha, there is no blame, alaykum, upon you, fima, in this, aradtum bihi, if you send a hint, min khidbatin nisai, for the marriage proposal to the woman, aw, or aknantum, kaf, noon, a noon, meaning to conceal, of, or if you have feelings for her and you're concealing, fi anfusikum, in yourselves, meaning for any other married woman you cannot even think about like that. If you think about another married woman, that you like her and you wish that she would become your wife, it is a sin to think like that. But for a widow, it is okay whether you drop the hint or you just start thinking about her in your head. You are thinking in your heart, you have the feelings for her. It is allowed over here according to this ayat. Alim Allahu, alim means knowledge. Allah has the knowledge. Annakum, that you, soon, tazkurunahunna, that you will mention them. So Allah knows that you have this feeling or you are thinking about it, and soon you will mention it to them. Walakin, but, la, do not, tuwa'iduhunna, waw ain dal, meaning wa'ada, meaning promise. Do not promise them, do not make them promise, the widows, sirran, secretly. So don't contact them, do not engage into some conversations, because overall we know that during the iddah, during the waiting period, the woman should not be mingling with any non-mahram at all. But in today's times, we see that messaging and SMS, WhatsApp, all those kinds of things are very common. So it's possible that somebody would like to get into some kind of conversation with the woman to see, to gauge interest and stuff like that. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not allowing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is allowing that if you have the feelings in your heart, that is fine, which is not allowed for you to have for other married women who have husbands alive. And if you drop the hint through your mother, sister, or even if you have to message her to drop the hint, but no secret conversations or promises should be made with her. It should not develop into something that we had already decided, kind of thing. Okay, so tuwa'iduhunna sirran, do not promise them secretly, illa, except on that takulu, you say qawlam ma'rufa, of saying ma'ruf. Ma'ruf means honorable, with respect. So you've just let her know with respect that this is something possible, this is something that you would wish for. Wala, and do not, ta'zimu, ain zai mim, as a meaning to decide, completely resolved. Okay, uqdata, the knot, aqad means knot, an nikahi, of marriage, hatta, until, yablugha, ba lam ghain, which means to reach. So do not make them reach a point where a knot is resolved for the marriage. It has been decided that okay, we are engaged into marriage, until they reach what? Al-kitabu, their prescribed time. What is written for them? Ajalahu, the time. So when they, until and unless they reach the end of that ajal, they reach the time, end of iddat, it should not turn into a plan or engagement. Wa'alamu, and know and have the ilm, anna, that Allah ya'lamu, he knows, Ma, what fi anfusikum is within yourselves. Allah knows what is within you, what you're going through. Fahzaruhu. So, has Allah, beware of him. So, be very careful with what you're doing. Sometimes people, if they are really wanting to get married to a certain woman, they will tell her that, oh, they this is also zulm, like the widow woman, they will help her and make her feel that, okay, there is nobody else who can be more helpful, or she should get engaged to this person or their family member only, because otherwise the life is going to be very cruel, and they're like trying to show all the dark side of the life, so she gets pressured into getting engaged with this person or with their brother or son, stuff like that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is going on in your head. So beware of him. Wa'alamu, and know, anna Allah, indeed Allah, ghafurun halim. He is Ghafoor, he is forgiving, and Halim is, he does not take action immediately. Meaning Halim means forbearing, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not punish immediately. So meaning that if something even wrong was going on in your head, you have the time to fix that. You have a time to stop yourself from going in the wrong direction, inshallah.